Hello, welcome to a new quest. We have discussed Holozoic feeding and the feeding habits of some Holozoic organisms in previous lessons. In this lesson, we want to talk about the mechanisms of feeding in Holozoic organisms. We want to explore variations in the feeding mechanisms of some organisms and what has actually helped them survive with these feeding habits. From our lesson on Holozoic nutrition, you know that all organisms mentioned have their own unique way of feeding. Some of them suck, some bite, some chew, and some even grind their food. This lesson will help us better understand the reasons behind the variations in their feeding styles. Now let's delve into the mechanisms of feeding associated with Holozoic organisms. The first mechanism we're exploring is the absorbing mechanism. This mechanism is common in organisms that practice parasitic nutrition. For example, the tapeworm. It is an endoparasite that carries out parasitic feeding on its host. In this case, the host is man. A tapeworm has no mouth, but absorbs digested food from the intestine of man. Instead, it has hooks and suckers, which it uses to adhere or hold on to the intestine to prevent displacement. It has no alimentary canal, and it uses its entire body for absorption. The body also has a T cuticle, which prevents digestive enzymes secreted by man from digesting it. And its flat body surface provides a large surface area for the absorption of already digested food. The second mechanism is biting and chewing. Many insects have their mouthparts adapted for biting and chewing. For example, a grasshopper has 4 different mouthparts: the labrum, the mandibles, maxillae, and the labium. The labrum or the upper lip and the labium or the lower lip help to prevent the food from falling out of its mouth. They also have a pair of mandibles that are similar to our jaws and are used for cutting and chewing food. The maxillae serve as a blade that operates a lot like a pair of scissors. The third feeding mechanism is the sucking mechanism. This mechanism is used by insects like the mosquito, the butterfly, and the housefly. In mosquitoes, there is a piercing mouthpart called the proboscis, which is used for sucking blood. It consists of a combination of 6 needle-like mouthparts representing the upper and the lower lips, or the mandibles and maxillae. The mouthparts altogether form a strong stylet. This is a stiff, slender organ capable of penetrating or piercing the skin to suck blood. The proboscis or mouth has the ability to fold back the labium so as to allow the sharp stylet to penetrate the skin. The mosquito also produces saliva to prevent clotting during a blood meal. In butterflies, the proboscis is long and coiled. The insect is capable of recoiling the long proboscis under its head when it's not in use. It takes up nectar using this proboscis, and this is similar to sucking up soft drinks with a straw pipe. The housefly also has a labium, but its labium is sponge-like to allow it to absorb liquid food. The fourth mechanism is the grinding mechanism. This mechanism is common among mammals, for example, cattle, dogs, and lions. These organisms possess hard and strong teeth, which help them to grind their food before swallowing. We will elaborate more on the teeth modifications in future lessons on dentition. Finally, we have the trapping and absorbing mechanism. This mechanism is common among insectivorous or carnivorous plants like the Venus flytrap. The leaves of the Venus flytrap have stiff hair-like projections called sensitive hairs or trigger. It shows a nasty response when anything perches on it. The leaves close short and trap insects And afterwards, they secrete digestive enzymes that break these insects down. Other examples of insectivorous plants are bladderwort and sundew plants. So what have we learned so far? We have learned about 5 feeding mechanisms in Holozoic organisms, and they are the absorbing mechanism, the biting and chewing mechanism, the sucking mechanism, grinding mechanism, and the trapping and absorbing mechanism. Join me in the next lesson where we discuss the feeding mechanism in Hydra. See you then.